It is the 25th of the 6th, 2014. This is your Radioactive Reality. Day number 1202. Any news? More the same. New concerns of Fukushima radioactive material spilling into ocean from layer 80 feet deep. Officials suspect they did build Fukushima on top of an old riverbed. You wonder why they're having problems from water leaking from underneath the plant. Emergency research underway in Japan after birds found with perplexing deformities. Something unusual is occurring inside their bodies. Never reported in 500,000 exams done before 3/11. Now observed at every site across the country. Some over 1,000 kilometers from Fukushima. Just getting started, folks. Just getting started. They cannot hide the truth. Bird defect deaths in West Coast State hit record levels during 2011. Spiked 60% statewide, then returned to normal in 2012. New government document lists Fukushima release along west coast of U.S. as possible factor in birth defect cluster. Over 3 years later. Whip expert. Very likely multiple nuclear waste drums exploded. Risk of more occurring. It's clearly something major. Signs of fire at container holding over 500 billion becquerels of plutonium and americium. Nuclear engineer. This is a huge, dirty bomb. And again, they quit saying anything about, oh, the roof might have collapsed down at this whip site with the explosions and everything else that happened. Truck fire and kitty litter, right? TV, 8 times more babies than usual born without brain near U.S. nuclear site. This is Hanford, of course. Much higher rate than anywhere else in the country. Quote, it's scary the cause is such a mystery. Big mystery, huh? CNN, experts speak out over failure of officials to conduct proper investigation. Quote, the lamest excuse I've ever heard. Don't worry, they'll just get lamer and lamer and lamer. They're going to do everything but tell you the truth about what's really going on at these places. Fukushima responsible for largest ever amount of radioactive pollution. We did something terrible. Scientists, nuclear fuel still melting down. There is melting happening in the cores. And of course, we all know, if you've been paying attention, that 3 full coriums have left the building and entered the environment, and they wonder why everything's leaching from 80 or more feet below the plant. Farmers, Fukushima radiation causing mystery disease. Many animals have developed spots all over their bodies. What if this starts to affect people? Question mark. It must be examined. Government can't identify the problem. They can't identify it because they're not allowed to look for the nuclear issue in it. They're going to blame everything but the nuclear industry for what's going on. And you better believe it's going on. Nuclear consultant, Fukushima reactors released about 3 times more radioactivity than Chernobyl. We know these numbers are insanely low. One of these reactors was 15 times the size of Chernobyl. Just one of these reactors. You have 3 at total meltdown, 4 fuel pools. Gone. The insanity continues. New model shows West Coast covered in Fukushima fallout a week after 3/11, and we tried to warn you about this. Public is anything but safe outside of evacuation zone during a Fukushima class disaster. So now it's a Fukushima class disaster, huh? Radiation doses over 50 millisieverts in 7 days for people living 100 miles away is possible. And we know it's much farther than that. They were picking up radioactive isotopes in Europe shortly after the Fukushima event. These cores, a lot of these cores went into aerosol form. This plutonium, americium, 1,300 radioactive isotopes hit aerosol form and went into the environment. They're burning this debris in open incinerators, all this radioactive tsunami debris, and what they can't burn, they are making little man-made islands off the coast of these towns full of this radioactive debris. Japan really is a radioactive tea bag leaching into the Pacific Ocean. And it's only a matter of time, folks. It's only a matter of time. Hemisphere facing generations of radiological contamination from Fukushima. TV, it's a major humanitarian crisis. New York Times, nobody really knows if hundreds of tons of plutonium and uranium fuel re-solidified. Experts, it's certain reactor cores moved around, flowed to different parts of the buildings, ? They're out of the buildings. It might be a little bit splooged here and there. They've done nothing in over 3 years. Fukushima guide, lots of people suddenly started having nosebleeds, cats and dogs too. It lasted for some time after 3/11. Article, many who volunteered in Fukushima have died, including 2 students from a group of 15 helping to decontaminate. And they are covering up the truth. Hydrogen explosion suspected as cause of WIP plutonium release. Meeting, are more lids going to blow? ? Seeing how the top of the drum blew off has me concerned it isn't low level. Former DOE expert, U.S. will inevitably shift to storing radioactive waste on surface after this. So instead of them blowing up and burning underground, we're just going to let it do right there on the surface. These people, oh my God. Trouble reported with inner ice wall at Fukushima. Highly radioactive water underground won't freeze. I wonder why. TEPCO, we can't make temperature low enough after trying for months. Think those hot coriums have anything to do with them not able to freeze the ground, no matter how cold they try to get it? Fluctuating water levels beneath unit number 2 blamed. Well, they're going to blame anything, aren't they? Expert, ground can liquefy around reactors and form sinkholes. The ground is very unstable. These buildings are severely damaged. And the Yakuza tells you, that's the Japanese mafia if you don't know, everything's under control. They got the cleanup down. Southern California fishermen skunked. Haven't seen a squid. Usually 10,000 plus pounds a day. Complete crashes at oyster hatcheries. Sardines, mackerel missing in areas. Pelican sites alarmingly deserted. Record number of sick sea lions. Ultra rare whales appear after decades. Mammals, birds, fish in odd places. And it's a big mystery. Nobody really knows what's going on. The insanity continues. 4 quakes above magnitude 5.0 jolt Japan East Coast. Officials say no immediate risk to Fukushima plant. They always say it's not immediate. Intensity level reached 4 out of 7 in Fukushima. Study, megaquakes frequent in Japan history. Evidence of monstrous tsunamis several times higher than 3/11 wave. Japan is a tsunami zone. Historically, they've got markers set up way up high in the hills warning the Japanese people not to build below these areas, but yet they do. 54 nuclear power stations on the coast in and around Japan. It's only a matter of time before another big tsunami hits, and then what? And then what? They need to shut every single nuclear power plant down and clean up this mess. Navy sailor suing over Fukushima exposure dies from rare cancer near heart. TV Navy lieutenant retires, says he's unable to use leg muscles due to Fukushima radiation and confined to wheelchair. Both of them were in their mid-30s. Largest disease outbreak that we know of ever in the oceans, now hitting the West Coast. Potential for global extinction affects over 20 species. Well over 20 species, maybe 20 million. Causing catastrophic mortality. Expert, one of history's largest wildlife die-off signal in ecosystem that something's not right. And nobody wants to look at the radiation problem. Nobody knows. They just don't know. Japan paper, a horse became weak and died one by one from an unknown cause at farm in Fukushima. Farmer, quote, "There is something seriously wrong going on. This country is going mad. I'm sure something grave is going to happen." 14 out of 15 newborn horses died last year. Don't worry, folks. Everything's perfectly under control. They're all geared up and ready to go for those 2020 Tokyo Olympics. I know I got my tickets ready. Do you? Officials, leakage seen on many nuclear waste drums in WIP underground. We think the seals have degraded. Public should be concerned about another explosion. Thousands of radioactive drums now seen as too risky to move. Now it's the seals, it's kitty litter, it's a truck fire. See what's going on here? Round and round and round. We're not really going to tell you anything. Officials, 311 notebook, concern half of Japan to be covered in nuclear waste. Those 60 and older should be prepared to die at Fukushima plant. Fire out of control at reactor number 4. And we've reported this, and reported this, and reported this. Japan official, bottom of reactor vessel suspected to have broken off. Melted through at Fukushima Unit 2 after the explosion, called catastrophic development, very grave. Top U.S. expert, it's inconceivable how melted fuel could be extracted. Again, they don't know what they're going to do. They're relying on technology they haven't even invented yet. And they got the Japanese mafia in charge of the cleanup. You tell me if everything's under control. That's about all I have for you today. Of course, if I missed anything, please let me know. Attach your comments or videos below. Enjoy while you can, everybody. I am. Thanks.